Okay, I'm headed back home from Woodstock, so I thought I'd turn the recorder on. Over to the right is looks like the outlet mall. Got Coach, Guess, Columbia, Polo, Levi outlet. I think I wouldn't mind living in Woodstock. Panda Express was one of my favorite restaurants. Applebee's. Dawsonville, the town above us, has a factory outlet mall. We never go to it, I guess because we like the discount stores like Burlington and Five Below and Ruby something. Oh, no, it's not Ruby, it's Tuesdays, Bell's Outlet, Marshall, TJ Maxx. We like stores like that. Even Goodwill. You'd be surprised when you can find a Goodwill, especially if you collect antique glassware that I like. You can always find that at Goodwill. The shelves are beautiful. They're almost 7 feet tall. 6 shelves, cherry wood, heavy wood.
In a quarter mile, turn left onto Main Street.
My mirror is doing me absolutely no good because I can't see out of it, but I have my side mirrors, which I use. So it's not going to be going backward anyway. Okay, I'm turning left on Main Street.
Turn left onto Main Street.
I don't know if Bonnie and I can get these in the house ourselves. We use her little garden wagon. It's a little metal garden cart with big sturdy wheels, and a lot of times, like when I got my dresser and my nightstands, we took the drawers out of them and put them on the garden cart. This one, being that they're 7 feet long, I guess we could balance it. I think the cart is about 4 feet long, and it's all flat. I
Continue on Main Street for 1.5 miles.
Park at the back gate that goes up to the apartment door, and we can just wheel it across the little pebbles, little gravel, and onto the concrete patio and the back door. Once we get it inside, we can maybe put it on a little area rug and slide it, walking across the doorway into the home office. I'll get them in there one way or another. So happy to have these. She said they paid, in 2015, they got them from Woodstock Factory Outlet, and they paid about $900 for them. I paid $150. Wasn't going to say how much I paid for them until I realized how much she paid for them. Working people sometimes can't afford to go out and buy a $900 bookshelf. I can't buy $900 anything. Cash. Holly Springs, back in Holly Springs. I think I like Holly Springs. I do love this part of Georgia. Lived in Florida for 43 years, and
in a quarter mile, turn right onto East Cherokee Drive.
Florida is a paradise, but it's hot. It's sticky. Beautiful Lake George, St. John's River, right across. Grew up on the corner of St. John's River and Lake George, right where they meet. Little town called Georgetown. It's beautiful.
Turn right onto East Cherokee Drive.
But Florida also has snakes. Georgia does too. But we had a lot of snakes in Florida. All kinds. Snakes. All kinds of spiders. I mean, some giant ones.
Continue on East Cherokee Drive for 5 miles.
Spiders, snakes, blind mosquitoes, love bugs, you name it. Hot, sticky. I mean, it can be 90 degrees in Florida. The heat index will make it like 102, and sometimes it gets up to 100 or 102 temperature, and then I don't know what the heat index will be then, but it's going to be unbearable. Georgia 90 degrees doesn't feel like Florida 90 degrees because of the humidity. When I moved to Georgia, I told my sister, I said, when you walk out of a store, let's say you're at a nice air-conditioned store shop, and you come out, and it's relatively warm, but it's no big deal. In Florida, when you walk out of a nice, comfortable store and go out to your car, it, like I say, that it just kind of like slaps you in the face. The heat is so much it could just knock you down. And then we always leave our windows cracked just a tiny bit to let some air in, because I mean, you get in that car, even if you have like cloth seats. Like, we never get leather seat in our, we never buy a car with leather seats living in Florida. Not me anyway, because you will stick to them. And you'd be too hot to sometimes even touch the steering wheel. So you leave the air conditioning on. When you turn your car on, then stand outside the car for a few minutes, let the air conditioner cool it down, and then you get in. Or if you have a little car like Donna did, that has the automatic start, you leave the air conditioner on, you start it when you're on your way up to the car, and then it'll be cool by the time you get there. And it's still locked, so nobody's going to drive off in your car. It's got the remote start. So, while I did enjoy living in Florida, I'm glad I'm out now, but just because of the heat. It's just too much. Here we had snow twice. One time we had a couple inches. The first time it was just more like frozen rain. And we had snow 3 times. But the next time it really didn't even stick to the ground anyway. So one time that I remember, it took a week to melt, and somebody in our neighborhood built a little snowman. It was so cute, but he melted pretty fast. Poor little thing. I was like, I'm melting. Coming across that real construction again. It always seems to be much shorter on the way home. Like, the drive home is much shorter than the way there. I guess for one thing, especially if you haven't gone there before, it seems like forever because you're learning, you're finding your way, or you're listening to your map. Where on the way home, it's kind of like you're backtracking, so you kind of know more about where you're going. But it always seems like the way home is so much shorter. Also, although I'm kind of glad that it kind of feels like the drive home is shorter, because when you've been on a trip, like out of town, especially if you've been gone for a few days, it seems like you can't get home fast enough, because you just want to get home and sleep in your own bed and get unpacked. So there's nothing like home sweet home. There's no place like home, right? That's a second reference to Wizard of Oz. I'm melting, and no place like home. Is moving at 7 o'clock, 7:05. 35 minutes home. See, it doesn't seem far at all. Maybe because also traffic may have cleared up a little bit. Not that it was real heavy. Anyway. So funny. Because when we lived in Florida, we lived, a minute, like I mentioned in some of my other videos, that like Walmart was 35, 45 minutes away, depending on traffic. And it was 10 miles to Crescent City. And, like there was a dollar store that they built in Fruitland, which was about 7 miles away. But that was just built in the last decade. And then, like even the gas station was 7 miles away. So you had to have gas. And then I heard, which I meant to ask my friend Becky when she was visiting, I heard that like Fruitland didn't even have gas. Now that was a major gas station there. So you had to go to Crescent City to get gas, or Willaca, which I think they're both the same distance. So you better make sure you have gas before you get on Highway 309 or Georgetown Denver Road, because there isn't going to be any gas for a little while. So you better make sure you've got a quarter tank. But anyway, what brought that up is that I told Bonnie, I said, well, you're welcome to ride along with me, which is a good thing she didn't, because there may not have been room in the car for her. I've got these bookcases packed in here. But she goes, no, I don't think I want to ride all the way over there. It's like 27 miles, but because of the speed and all that and traffic, it took like 45 minutes, which I guess is kind of average if you're going through town. You're not going on like a 55, 60 mile an hour road. So she's like, I don't know if I want to drive all the way over there. And I was kind of thinking, and I told her, I said, it's like 27 miles. Because she's not, of course I've been here for 5 years, but my friend Kim and I used to say, if it ain't 40 miles, we won't go, because we'd get in her pretty little red pickup truck and we were in Crescent City at her place, and we'd go to like Orlando or Daytona or DeLand or Orange City, Jacksonville, St. Augustine, somewhere that was like at least 50 miles, because that's how we did things back then. We were young and having fun, so we'd just go wherever we felt like going. But the next town south of Cumming is Alpharetta, which can take about 30 minutes, but it's getting quite crowded down there. So, sometimes like if we want to go to like Joanne Fabrics, which we love to go to, she loves fabric and I love the beads, and she collects beads too and makes jewelry with me. But sometimes, we'll say, well, let's just go to the Joann's in Alpharetta. So, it's a bit of a drive, but it's just the next town down. But there's a lot of traffic around here, so it's not like you can just drive leisurely over there. I mean, you have to either get on Highway 400 or Highway 9, and fight traffic. But you get used to it. It's nothing like Atlanta, that's for sure. Now, the further down you get in Alpharetta, the more crowded it gets. Roswell is pretty crowded, but I love Roswell. It's a pretty town. Down to that, there's Sandy Springs, and then there's Dunwoody. And then up northern, by us, like I said, there was Milton, which I mentioned before. And then on the other end is Canton. And going the opposite way is Sugar Hill, Swanee, Buford, Johns Creek. So that's like the area that we live in, between all these places. Okay. Well, now I'm going back into Holly Springs. How many times am I going to pass through Holly Springs?
Turn right onto Hickory Road.
I must have been in one area and then on the other end of Holly Springs, which reminds me of one time when I was working off of Alabama Road. On one street, you'd be in Alpharetta.
Take the next right onto Hickory Road.
On the next street, you'd be in Milton. You turn around the corner, and you're in Roswell. So, like, you're in Alpharetta 1 minute, then you're in Milton, then you're in Roswell. It's like where the three towns meet. So that was kind of funny. I'm like, well, which town am I in? All three of them. Now looks like we're kind of out of the scenic area, so I'm going to turn this off for a few.